Alright guys, even though I work on this car, I have to keep the other ones running also around here. So, her daughter's car quit for the second time. First time, it was the main fuse. The main fuse, I'll show it here in a minute, ended up popping. So we got another one. I put one in the car and it went out again. So instead of paying $90 a pop for each one, for each main fuse, that is. Now that's the 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee. So this is what I done on this one out here for the second time, and I'll go through it. I'm still working on trying to put the head on here. I ended up breaking the head bolt. So I broke the head bolt on that one right here, and I think it's either when I took the head off, water ended up getting down in there, oil or something. So I cleaned it all out. I ended up getting that out. So I took a center punch and I was gonna drill it out, and so each time I hit it with a center punch, I noticed that it was turning. So I ended up just taking a screwdriver and just keep working it and working it and working it, and I got it out. Got lucky. Never have luck in my life, and I get luck on that. So that's surprising as hell to me. So what I did on this one when I got it home, so each and every time I was doing a 12 volt check, and you know the little, I guess the leads up here, each time, I'll get to this, hang on. So each time I was doing the check up here, I was getting 12, 12.4, 12.5, but I noticed every time I went to crank it, it would drop down to about 10. You give it a little bit, it'll come back up, and I'm like, okay, so what's going on? So here I am checking all kinds of things. Anyway, the main fuse is down here. This case normally goes over it. That's what you always see, sitting like that on these Jeeps. And then you pop this case off to it, and your main fuse sits down in here. I'm not going to disconnect it. I'm just going to show it to you real quick. But there is, like, I think it's a 30 amp down here. I think it goes to your starter. There's another one here. It's 100, and then your main one's over here. It's 150. Well, that one kept popping, the 150 amp. So instead of me putting another one in and trying to figure out where it's coming from, so I bought this off of Amazon. It cost me 15 bucks. It's a 150 amp type fuse breaker type deal. So say for instance, if it pops, got a damn bee on my knee, shouldn't be cussing, but anyway, so what happens, this bee just won't leave me alone. Go on, dude. But so if it pops, this arm will swing out. So then you push the button in, then you reset it. Alright, dang it. I don't know what the bee's problem is. It might have a lot of sweet on my leg or something. I don't know. Give him a minute. I don't know what he's doing over there by the car. Man, he won't leave me alone. And here's another one. What the hell is going on? Chill, get in there. But anyway, I'm trying to get to this, you guys. So, like I said, if that pops, this arm will swing out. You hold the button in, you push it back in. It didn't ever do that. But that was just temporarily till I got another fuse. I got another fuse ordered. I got it in the house, so I'll end up putting it on. But I think I'm going to let her drive it like this for a while just to make sure that it doesn't pop another 90. Them things go from 90 to $120, $130 for each little main fuse block down here. So I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to end up putting the plastic case back on to protect it. And I'll end up, I know how crazy she drives, so I ain't going to let this hit against no metal. This is just sitting right here just for right now. But that's how I done it. And what it is this red wire that's down inside there. It's coming up. It was connected to the main fuse, but I connected it over to this block over here. There it is right there. That main red wire right there. I connected it to here. I put a jumper wire to give it the 12 volts on the top. So that's the wire you see right here. So that's jumpered over. So that's supplying power down. So I got all that taken care of. The other fuses down in there were good in the block. This is the only one that I jumpered over. So that's good to go. So if it fails again, at least it won't burn that fuse up. It'll just pop that out. But what I ended up finding out was, like I said, I did my volt readings up here, and I was getting good voltage reading. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand anything up here, because I'd hit it and it'd be 12.6, 12.7. I checked the battery, 12.6, 12.7. I'm all right, cool. I'm good up here. Got power up here. It has power, but the main fuse is blown. So I was like, okay, let me just put it this way. Let me go ahead and just hook this in. This is going to be my 150 amp breaker right here, basically. So I got all that put in. Still wouldn't start. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I mean, and then, like I said, I took this little box off here and did my volt readings up here. And when she would hit the ignition to try to start it, you'd hear, I put my finger on the start relay. You could hear it clicking. Everything was going right on it. I mean, I'm like, okay, so no starter relay, no nothing. So what the heck is going on? And then every time she would do it, it would drop voltage a little bit and pick back up. And I'm like, okay. So girlfriend was like, well, why don't you just, because I had another battery in the garage, and I didn't have a load battery checker where it checks the load. So I was like, okay, I got another battery in the garage. Why don't I just switch them out and go from there? So what started all the problem was the start-stop battery right here was the main problem, which started this whole thing. So she replaced that, the start-stop battery. So that's brand new. Still, the issues were still coming up. So when she replaced that, that's when the fuse was out. So I replaced the fuse and that. So got taken care of that. So put this in. Everything was good for 3 days. It drove fine, and then it popped the main fuse again. So I was like, okay, there's another problem. So anything you check online, they always say there's a positive, your positive wire is grounded out from your battery, your main battery. So I was like, okay. So I took all the plastic apart down the seam of the door, took the kick panel out. So let me get my glass up. Take all this out, the kick panel out, because the wire from the positive comes out through the board and runs straight down through here, and you can see it tucking in. I checked all of that to make sure there were no burn marks, arc marks, anything coming out. There was nothing. So like I said, the girlfriend said, well, just put the battery in there that you have in the garage and put it in there. Because I was going to take the seat out and everything and go really digging down in this thing. So I put the battery in. The battery I had in the garage, I put it in, put everything back together. Car fired up. So I was like, okay, it's the battery. What's up with these bees? So the car fires right up. Bad battery. So I was like, dang it. Like I said, it showed voltage everywhere. It must be just a bad cell in the battery. But I didn't have a checker, so I went and got on Amazon, bought this little cheapy one's for $25. So I ended up hooking that in there to it. And yeah, I watched the Goon Squad. So I hooked that into it, and it said charge battery. So each and every time it kept saying it said it once. I did it. I charged the battery back up. Well, it's still at 12. I charged it more, as you want to say, I guess. So I did that, retested it, and it said the same thing again. So in the instructions to that little book, or to that little meter there, it says if it keeps showing that, then the battery needs to be replaced. So that's what I did. So I ended up replacing the battery, and replacing the battery took care of the problem. For right now, I hope. So, as you can see, car starts right up. So that's what I've been messing with and going through this problem with this car. So hopefully everything, when she drives it to work this week, everything goes right. So like I said, instead of popping that 30 amp or that 150 amp main fuse, it's just going to pop that. So that's going to save. So if she drives it all week, nothing else happens, I'm good. I'll get the plastic case back on there, get all this taped up, make sure nothing arcs and nothing like that. So just want to go over the things that I still got to fight with to keep these cars going around here also, other than just that one. So all right guys, that's about it. Now I'll get back on the Camaro here. I got some actually I ordered some head studs for it, and they should be here. There's the one that broke. It wasn't over torquing it. It was just, I was going down the specs. It said start at 20, go to 50, then you go to 80. That's exactly what I did. And when I was coming down to 80, pop. So this is hanging over because I got a fan shroud up against the toolbox right there that I was messing around with. So I need to unbolt this and take this out. What's holding is this rubber hose. But anyway, I'll get back to this. And I got all the hose cleaned out. I blew them all out. I brake clean. Shot some brake clean down in there. And I know you're supposed to tap them all out. So I'll get to that and get that done. But that's what I'm just telling you about the Jeep. So appreciate. Like and subscribe. See you guys.